Where the deliberations have concluded, the verdict is back in the trial of the former officer Brett Hankison. I think that we are going to go back live to the courtroom for the reading of this verdict.
Form to the deputy sheriff, please. Thank you. Under verdict form number 1, we, the jury, found the defendant, Brett Hankison, not guilty of wanton endangerment in the first degree under instruction number 4, as that applies to Cody Etherton. Verdict form number 2, as to Chelsea Napper, we, the jury, found the defendant, Brett Hankison, not guilty of wanton endangerment first degree under instruction number 5. As to verdict form number 3, wanton endangerment first degree as to Zayden F., we, the jury, found the defendant, Brett Hankison, not guilty of wanton endangerment first degree under instruction number 6. Counsel, anything further from this jury?
On behalf of the defendant, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, cannot thank you enough for the time and attention that you have paid to this case, for being able to reach a verdict, for going through individual voir dire with us, for filling out the questionnaire, always being on time for court, coming in during a pandemic and hearing this case, going to the scene with us. I just cannot express my appreciation to you enough that you have so well performed your civic duty in regards to all that you have done on this case. I would like to meet with you just briefly back in the jury room, so I'm going to ask Deputy Sheriff Anthony to take you back there, and then we'll talk further at that point.
All right, reporting jury.
And there you heard it. We have a verdict in this case. Not guilty on the 3 charges facing this defendant. Not guilty. Brett Hankison was charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment for the 3 victims, or alleged victims, I should say. He is not guilty, in the apartment that was adjacent to Breonna Taylor's apartment when he discharged his weapon. This jury, again, has found not guilty on all charges. He is going to be a free man. Our own Court TV anchor Julie Grant has stayed to join me this hour. But first, let's listen to a little bit more of what's happening in the courtroom. All right, Julie Grant is standing by. Thank you so much, Julie, for staying and talking about this case. What's your immediate reaction to not guilty on all 3 counts?
Not surprised. Not surprised at all. So here, this case has gotten so much attention for the reasons we know, right? We know that a beautiful life was cut short far too soon in the most tragic way. A woman who had her whole life ahead of her, who could have done so much good, was already doing so much good as an emergency medical technician. Beautiful Breonna Taylor should not have died that night. But what he did had nothing to do with her death. And he was on trial for something that, you know, I ask myself this time and time again, if this was in any other city and her death was not part of it and it was not this situation, I don't think we would see a police officer being prosecuted for that. I truly don't. I don't think that the Commonwealth met their burden under wantonly, under the law in Kentucky. In order to show someone acted wantonly, they had to be aware of the risk, aware you could kill somebody, but still consciously take that risk and so grossly deviate from what any reasonable person would do in those circumstances that you do it anyway. So that's a wanton disregard. Here, I mean, he testified himself, and I thought his lawyer very eloquently put it in close, that he was unaware that there were people right behind that wall that he could have hurt. And I'm sure if he knew, he wouldn't have. I mean, his testimony said that in so many words. I am not surprised with this verdict. I didn't think that the prosecution was very strong. I wondered if those prosecutors who were in that courtroom even wanted to move forward on that case. I mean, sometimes you're given an assignment from the head of your office and you take that assignment and you move forward with the case as best as you know how. And I thought they did that. I thought there could have been things they perhaps should have done, maybe call a use of force expert. Notice they didn't call Kenneth Walker, the man who fired at police first. So that was something big to me. So I can't say that I'm surprised at all at this result, Ashley.